You're held accountable for learning that, and you have to absorb that, because if you're not paying attention and if you're not trying to learn, it's going to go right by you. And I started to practice and practice and practice, and now it's 2022 and I'm finally getting where I'm confident.
When you started getting into doing silver yourself, how long ago was that, and how did you start?
I started around when I was 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I started with a ring. My father, out in the shed, he had the studio set up, and that's when he was silversmithing at that time. And I wanted to learn, and I was very interested. And I got deterred from it from that age because it takes so much patience.
Yeah.
And a lot. It takes precision and an eye and that patience. And I was 8 years old and I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah.
So I was able to observe and get to know the instruments and get to know what everything looked like. And so I knew what the tools were, but when the time came around that I started really putting in my practice and learning. And I started that around 2016.
Okay.
Is when I really found all the tools that I could, and even from my grandmother, tools were passed down, and turquoise and all these things, and I compiled all those different things, and I started to put them to use. And I started to practice and practice and practice, and now it's 2022 and I'm finally getting where I'm confident.
Cool. So you're about 6 years in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's taken a lot, It's taken a lot of patience. It takes a lot of error. You're not gonna. The first piece isn't gonna be perfect, and the next piece isn't gonna be perfect.
Right.
It takes a lot of time. And when you have a good teacher and you have good guidance, it helps you not make errors that a common person who's just trying to teach themselves would make. So that helps a lot when you have guidance. It helps with that that trial and error.
Right.
Where that's how through the ages, through these thousands of years of that the craft has been around, it's been trial and error and people learning from that, and then compiling teachings on it.
Who do you reach out if you have an issue? Who do you reach out to for advice, guidance, knowledge?
Books.
Books
and videos. And I used to go to my father and ask questions from him. And then I have an uncle in Farmington, New Mexico, George Toledo. I would go and I spent 3 days with him learning torch work, and so soldering and forming and design and different things, Navajo design, different things along those lines, traditional
Cool.
techniques. So I'm hoping to go and spend some time with him again.
Cool. So you're able to go back to the original places of where the art and the craft is traditionally from. For the Navajo people, you were able to go down there and go get that knowledge directly from the source.
Yes.
Which is rare. A lot of cats that are in the silver game can't do that.
George Toledo is by far the best silversmith that I've been able to learn from. And he's gone across the United States doing how do you say, doing like expos and doing demonstrations for people and showing his abilities, and his pieces are everywhere. He's sent them out just about everywhere. And he does the big stuff, a lot of stones, a lot of silver, a lot of time, a lot of patience, the traditional stuff.
What was one of the, if you can tell us, like one of the coolest things or something that you learned from him that you otherwise probably wouldn't have learned?
What was really cool about learning from George is the style, and I do believe it's a Navajo kind of style of teaching, is that it's a lot of observing, and it's not a lot of being talked at, and it's not a lot of oral, just like this is, you do this, do this, do that. It's like, hey, sit behind me, watch me do this piece, and then I'll let you do it, and then I'll see what you did, and then be like, okay, you can improve this way. And it's a lot of just watching though and absorbing that information, and his being able to learn that, I guess, he's not telling you exactly what to do, but he's showing you.
Yeah.
And he's showing you, and it's very simple. And you know, if you're able to absorb knowledge that way, it becomes, you have to be, I mean, you're held accountable for learning that, and you have to absorb that, because if you're not paying attention and if you're not trying to learn, it's going to go right by you.